Today's story is difficult. It involves child sexual abuse and the internal policies of Jehovah's Witnesses that allowed a young girl's cries for help go unanswered. And if this topic is too heavy, please take care of yourself first. But if you choose to stay, I want to show you exactly why Jehovah's Witnesses are in serious legal trouble. And this is not because of apostates, not because of the media, but because of their own policies within the Jehovah's Witness religion. So to start with, we're going to take a look at the screens, a couple screens, court cases, some court filings, and we want to thank Watchtower. They brought this article to us. So the first article that they brought to us was Bill Madden's WordPress. I like him. I've read his stuff before on this channel. And he covers medical law, abuse law, NDIS, and civil liability blog in Australia. Bill Madden's WordPress. And he really takes a difficult case like this and he just narrows it right down. Makes it easy to read. So we're going to start off with this one. He entitled it Abuse, Paternal Abuse, including serious physical abuse. The plaintiff claimed for sexual and serious physical abuse by her father in Queensland during her childhood when she was 17. The plaintiff tendered a certificate of conviction from the defendant's criminal trial in the District Court of Queensland in 2004, along with an earlier indictment from 2002, and the evidence of the plaintiff was otherwise accepted. The court accepted that the law of Queensland governed all the questions of substance, while the law of NSW governed all the questions of procedure. And the decision addressed the meaning of serious physical abuse under the Limitations Act 1974, and the court held at 134. So this is the only thing that he put in his thing. The plaintiff evidence of bleeding after being belted by the defendant on numerous occasions, that's her father belting her, and suffering black eyes as a result of him punching her in the face. And even in historical context of the 1980s, in my opinion, constitutes serious physical abuse. And the extent of that abuse does not loom large in the plaintiff's case, unsurprisingly, because of the significant allegations of sexual abuse. But in my view, it is not time barred as Section 11A is engaged, whatever that means. So a claim for exemplary damages was not made, given an earlier term of imprisonment. However, $100,000 was awarded for aggravated damages. And awards were also made for general damages, $300,000, and for past and future economic loss. And the total award is $1.495 million plus costs. So you notice a future economical loss was sued for. And we're going to talk about that a little bit because we'll cover that in the next case. And they break it down because the economical loss, once a person is abused like that, she talks about not being able to get a job and things like that because of her abuse. So this is the court case, the Supreme Court, New South Wales. And this is April 1st, 16th of April, 2025. So this is just recent. And then the dates of the orders were November 3rd of 2025. And that's why we're reading this today. Watching Watchtower would have picked this up as recent news here. November 2025. So it starts out by the decision. The judgment for the plaintiff was awarded in the sum of $1.495 $395. That's how they got it. Basically 1.5 million in Australia currency. 1.5 million. And the defendant is to pay the plaintiff's cost of the proceedings on an ordinary basis unless a party is able to demonstrate the entitlement for some other costs or orders. And we'll look at how they broke those costs down. I thought that was interesting. We'll have to go right to the end of this document. And they talk about the cost here. They summarize it. The future of out-of-pocket expenses. And I'm going to put a link to this in the video, because if you read this stuff, you'll realize why. It's just graphic. What happened to this girl by her father was just horrible. It's stuff that I can't read on YouTube. But here's how they summarized it. General damages were $300,000. Aggravated damages $100,000. Interest. So they had that in there, $144,000. And the past economic loss was close to $500,000. Past economic loss, because if you can't work, and she lost her job. I don't know, she was making $50,000 a year, but she lost her job because of this PSTD, PTSD. I had that wrong. Sorry. PTSD, post-trauma, traumatic stress. Yeah, it's a disorder. A lot of especially if you undergo a lot of bad things. A lot of ex-Jehovah's Witnesses have that because of the end, Armageddon. But when we look at what this girl went through, it wrecks people for life. Wrecks them for life. They're in therapy. She tried to commit suicide. They think they're worthless. They take the blame for it all. So it's a terrible, terrible thing, and it's good that the courts are looking at future economical loss, $300,000. Past out-of-pocket expenses, $3,700. Future out-of-pocket expenses, $182,000. So they got $1.5 million basically in there. And if the defendant has to go sell his house, if her father has to go sell his house or whatever, so be it. He has to pay this off, and so that this girl can get through life, because she's having a really tough time. So I'm just going to show you. There's pages and pages of stuff in here that I can't read. This is some of the stuff I can't read. The defendant did this, the defendant did that, the defendant did this, the defendant did this, the defendant did that. How much of this can a person take? Like this, and this is just a little section here. I'm gonna go down and just show you how much of this stuff there was. And then all the evidence of all this stuff, and it's terrible. The abuse that this guy put her through. And then they went to the elders, and it was a dog and pony show at the elders. He got mad at her. Of course, he denies it all, but he got mad at her in front of the elders, and the elders did nothing, as normal. He was eventually disfellowshipped. He went to jail. The guy went to jail. Like, the plaintiff attempted suicide after she reported the abuse to the elders. She described the shame, the humiliation, the stigma of being labeled a victim of incest. She spoke of the emotional impact of the criminal proceedings, which followed her reports to the police. To this day, she feels worthless. But anyways, we want to really focus on the Watchtower. The Watchtower did nothing here. And they did nothing to help the victim. They did not report it to the police. They're always worried about Jehovah's name. Folks, this is coming back in a big way to bite the Watchtower. Now, the Watchtower didn't get sued on this case yet, but it could get sued, I think, looking at it. Now, we're just going to talk about this a little bit here. Just kind of cover over it. It was in November of 2025 that the Supreme Court of New South Wales released a judgment involving a Jehovah's Witness father and his teenage daughter. For the privacy, the court used pseudonyms, and so will we. So this wasn't a rumor or an accusation. The father was criminally convicted back in 2004, indecent assault, attempted rape. And in 2025, after decades of fighting to be heard, the court awarded her $1.49 million in damages. And the judge accepted her story completely. But the real problem is what Jehovah's Witness elders did when she first asked for help. She first reported the abuse in 1989 to Jehovah's Witness elders. She followed the rules. She did what children are told to do. Go to the elders. So instead of protecting her, elders forced her into a room with her abuser, a judicial committee. And he shouted at her, intimidated her, and threatened her right in front of the other elders. And the other elders did nothing. So she testified that the elders told her she couldn't go to the police unless her father, her abuser, went with her. That's what the elders told her. She couldn't go to the police unless her father went with her. So folks, let's be honest here. Jehovah's Witnesses, governing body. You've got millions of people around the world that have been affected. Every congregation has abusers in it. And the elders do nothing. So let's be honest here, Watchtower. That's not shepherding. That's not love. That's entrapment. Decades of entrapment. This is the same story we've been hearing on this channel over and over again. The same story. In 1995, desperate and isolated, she wrote a letter directly to the Watchtower branch office. And she described the abuse in detail. Probably what you'll see, if you want to get the link and see it, we'll pin it. You can read it. We can't read it on YouTube. The branch acknowledged the letter, and they said they would make inquiries. And then nothing. Nothing. They didn't report it. They did not remove him. He was, I think he was serving as a ministerial servant. And they didn't protect her or anyone else. Well, the judge also heard the expert psychiatric evidence describing the world she grew up in, a Jehovah's Witness home shaped by obedience, fear, and male authority. She was taught, obey your father, don't question authority, never bring reproach on Jehovah, and don't trust worldly people, and never go to outsiders for help. She had no friends outside the religion, no safe adult to confide in, and constant fear of being disfellowshipped. This is why Jehovah's Witnesses are in deep legal trouble. It's not one bad man. It's a system that keeps children silent. The judge considered all the evidence, including multiple statements she gave over the years, and he accepted her testimony. The father denied everything except one instance of digital penetration. And he had a big excuse for it. I can't even explain it on here. But he had a big excuse. Anyways, the judge considered all her evidence. The father's claim it was consensual. The judge rejected it. The father claimed one assault was consensual. The judge rejected that immediately. And the court recognized that years of abuse, physical, sexual, and spiritual, caused lifelong PTSD. It disrupted her education, it damaged her career, and shaped every part of her adult life. And the damages were totaling $1.495395, almost $1.5 million. She received nearly $1.5 million in damages because the court acknowledged something Jehovah's Witnesses refused to admit. Their internal system amplifies trauma. Their policies isolate victims, and their committees re-traumatize children. Their judicial committees are re-traumatized children. And I can say that from experience. I was in a judicial committee with my daughter. We had appealed it. They wanted to disfellowship her. We appealed it because a 27-year-old other so-called brother came into my home. My daughter was 15. And nothing happened to the other guy. He was privately reproved. His hands were slapped behind closed doors, and he was let go. And my daughter was disfellowshipped for 2 years, traumatized. This is what happens. It screws people up. It disrupted her education. My daughter didn't graduate. It damaged her. Just like this girl. Damaged her career. Every part of her adult life damaged. If you do decide, and I caution you, if you do decide to read that document, you'll see it. So, Jehovah's Witnesses' internal systems amplifies trauma, their policies isolate victims, and their committees re-traumatize the children. This is why the Watchtower's in trouble. This case wasn't against Watchtower directly, but the judgment is devastating for them. The court documented, this is what the court documented. Elders ignoring a child's cries. A judicial committee that harmed her. A branch office notified and inactive. Did nothing. A belief system that trapped her. A structure that protected the abuser. A structure that protected the abuser. This is what JW.org is. Let's be honest here. We've all seen it if we've been in there. And every one of those points matches what the Australian Royal Commission found. Jehovah's Witnesses do not report abuse. They do not protect children. And they place the reputation of the organization above the safety of the victims. This means survivors now have a legal precedent, they have validation, and they have the confidence to sue. Jehovah's Witnesses are sitting on a mountain of liability, and the courts are beginning to dig. If you grew up in this environment, if you were afraid to speak, if you were told to stay silent for Jehovah, or if elders dismissed or blamed you, you were not imagining it. You were not the problem. And what happened to you was wrong. You deserve healing, you deserve support, and you deserve a life filled with love, not fear. Live your life with love, not fear. My name is Vern. This is Fixing My Faith, and we'll see you guys on the next video. Bye for now. Well, before we wrap up, I want to take a moment to thank our Coffee Club supporters. These are the folks who help keep Fixing My Faith going, and I'm scrolling through them right now. And if you see your name, thank you for standing with us. But here's the thing. The best way you can support us is absolutely free. Over almost 60% of our viewers are not subscribed. So if you've been watching and getting value out of these videos, hitting that subscribe button tells YouTube to share this with more people who need it. So subscribe, like, and share. And we also run a completely free community. It's called ExJWfriends.com. That's where you can find it on the website, ExJWfriends.com. And then on the website, once you go there, there's a link to the private Discord channel. And that's where people have a lot of fun. People share their stories, they get support, and they can connect without judgment. That's what happens there. There's also people that will help coach, life coaches, counselors. There's all kinds of support at ExJW Friends. And if you're waking up or just need to talk it out, that's where you want to go. So here's a link on screen in case you want to find it. And we also put a link in the descriptions of all of our videos. You can just go right down there and hit the link to the Discord community. So whether you are supporting through the coffee club or just clicking, liking, and subscribing, it all helps spread the message. And we want you to know that we appreciate you. Live your life with love, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye for now.